I would make a motion to deny this request.
Okay, there is a motion before us. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Okay, motion is moved and seconded to deny this action as recommended. Discussion to the motion. Hearing and seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No. Motion passes on a 3-1 vote with Supervisor Smith absent. Okay, I'm just going down the list here of continued items from our famous meeting of last week. So item 6, legislative and/or CEO report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have no legislative items for you at this point in time. CEO's report, just wanted to let you know that we have initiated the process of the recruitment for the Agricultural Commissioner per your board's direction. We also regretfully wanted to formally announce the resignation of our HR director, and we'll be initiating a recruitment to replace her. And then finally in March, it will be the last scheduled day for our museum director, and we will be bringing a package for you on that recruitment in the near future. That concludes my comments.
Okay, Supervisor Delmar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. CEO, in terms of the legislative report, the resolution that this board adopted, a month ago or so in regard to AB 32, the last therefore strongly requested a response by our legislators to that by a date certain. I believe that date was November calendar's gone now, but 21st?
21st, I believe, is correct.
Have we received any indication that they even read that resolution?
Our office has received no official correspondence regarding that subject.
So they have, in essence, all three have ignored the resolution that this board unanimously passed and asked them to respond to.
We have received no correspondence, correct.
I'd like the record to reflect that today, please. Thank you.
I might also mention, while we're on that topic, I did get an email this morning from our air quality director regarding the ARB 32 regulations. There is a 15-day comment period regarding the adoption of any new rule. He will be coming forth to the board with some additional comments, partially based on Supervisor Delbar's testimony last week and his attempt to change some of the rulemaking. So I would expect to see that probably tomorrow, because that'll be your last formal board meeting of the year.
Okay, just a comment. I've received several, I believe 3, very favorable comments in regards to Supervisor Delbar's testimony. To the point where the public expressed appreciation, including some staff members of the ARB. Several of the staff members were quite embarrassed with the rudeness that Supervisor Delbar was treated in regards to his testimony. From the comments that I heard, the hearing was pretty much just a formality. The rules basically had already been mentally adopted, and they were just following procedures. And so from the comments that I received, it was quite evident the decision had already been made in the absence of the will of the people of the state of California. And so it's very unfortunate. But I do appreciate Supervisor Delbar's testimony and his willingness to testify. And he did make an impression, and I wanted the public in Mendocino County to understand that. Okay. Supervisor.
Yeah, I'd like to, again, thank Supervisor Delbar for going over there. I think his testimony had an impact, although it was on the minor side of the issue, which I think was set up for passage before, but we were the only county, I believe, to actually oppose these CARB rules, which, it's ironic to me that here they're going ahead with passage of these new rules, and they haven't even decided the issue whether it will affect interstate trucks or not yet. So it's going to lead to a very uncompetitive process for California business people. I mean, it's, you know, or is that what California's gonna end up with, is having a line of trucking companies on the Oregon border and the Nevada border working in and out of California, and local truckers not be able to do anything? I mean, it's ridiculous, but for them to pass that ahead of the knowledge of how the Interstate Commerce Code is going to affect that is totally ridiculous. But I think we've done what we can, and thanks to Supervisor Delbar going over there personally, at least I think we've maybe opened up somebody's eyes, even though we're starting out in a minority position. We still have time to make comments, which our Air Quality Management Director is doing. And so it's not a done deal yet. We'll fight for what we can.
Thanks, Supervisor. Supervisor Delmar, you had a comment?
Very quickly, Mr. Chairman. First of all, thank you to my colleagues for their comments. It's an 11-hour day, door to door, for a 2-minute comment, which one of probably, I'm not sure how many spoke, but I was the first one out the gate out of at least 150 or so that were at least I saw on the list. And it was quite an interesting experience listening to a 3-hour-long staff report that was so full of holes that it was embarrassing. And I would like to also thank Chris Brown for his assistance and his tenacity as well. He was there for the 2 days of the program and listened to the whole thing. So it was a group effort, but we think we did get some inroads in on as far as the rural counties are concerned. That's the important part. But thank you both for your comments.
Thank you, Supervisor. Okay, let's move on to more important matters here. Item7C1, Planning and Building Services Director's Report, and then we'll get to item 7C5 here shortly.
Quite honestly, I forgot about you have the director's report. I didn't bring it with me. I don't remember what I wrote.
Okay, any comments on the Director's Report?
Must have been really important.
Every word was a gem.
Several trees worth anyway.
I've got it here someplace.
Okay, we'll show acceptance of the report, no comments. Let's move to item 7C2, discussion possible action regarding policy on pending building permits. Mr. Lynch.
Yeah. Currently, under the building code, once a person applies for a building permit, they have 6 months to pick it up, and we can provide a 6-month extension of that. So you have a year to pick up your building permit. And during that first 6 months, we do the plan check and other things preparatory to issuance of the permit. Once a building permit is issued, you have a year to call for your first inspection, and there's 2 possibilities of extensions of 6 months each. So theoretically, from the time you submit a building permit, you can have up to 3 years before you even have to start construction or have an inspection. But we have been receiving some input from a couple of folks in the county who have building permits that are already been submitted, but because of the change in the economy, they're concerned about going ahead and proceeding with their projects at this point in time. And so we're suggesting that we be provided an administrative authority to grant another extension to that initial period before you pick up your building permit. It's something akin to, coming with this from a planning background, the legislature periodically, I think that just recently, gave another extension to provisions of the Subdivision Map Act that allows for a 1-year extension of time to any valid tentative map. So what we would be asking for is the authority for those permits that are in-house, that have gone through, that are ready for issuance, that we provide a one-time, 1-year extension for them to pick up their building permit. That would be contingent upon them, however, paying their plan check fee, which is the fee, that portion of the fee that we've actually done the work to date. And so that's what we're seeking your concurrence with today.
Supervisor Pinches.
Mr. Chairman, I think that local government has to be responsive to the economic conditions. I don't think that's an unreasonable request, and I'd like to make a motion to grant the Building and Planning Director to implement that program.
Second.
Okay, there is a motion and a second. Further discussion from the board before I go to the public.